Today I'd like to talk about a controversial subject, the Mike Austin release. What is the Mike Austin release? Well, it's a lot more popular than you think it is, and a lot more people do it than you think. Rory does it, Fred Couples does it, VJ Singh does it, Adam Scott does it, Count Yogi does it. If you don't know who Count Yogi is, look him up on YouTube. He's quite the character, and supposedly quite the player. But anyway, what I'd like to show you today is it's the opposite of running out of right arm. And when we run out of right arm, this right hand, it can't slide backwards on the club. So what happens? This arm has to break, and a lot of times people get into the chicken wing. So the Mike Austin release is actually making this right arm too long. And haven't we seen that position in VJ and Fred Couples, where the right arm is actually longer than it needs to be? And what does that do for you? Well, when we run out of right arm, the arm oftentimes turns over that way, or it has to break that way, and that will shut the face. But this Mike Austin release keeps the face stable. Through impact. And if you think about it, pretty much everybody that does this release, or this type of release, have rarely had a problem with the ball going left. I think Rory started rolling his arm when he lost that Masters, when everything was going left, because he wasn't getting that right arm long enough. And so I know what some of you are saying. Well, that's going to make you flip at it. Well, it only makes you flip at it if your intention is to move the club in that direction. And yes, if that was your intention, you would definitely have to flip at it. But since our intention is actually sending the club that way, we go that way with the club. We're still thinking of the club as moving that way. We don't actually get to that condition until way over here, right after the ball is gone. And so this doesn't happen at impact, it happens after impact. And because we know that's going to happen, you actually have to reserve the ability to do it, right? And in so doing that, you come through with a very stable club face. Now, one thing that I have noticed recently, I was talking to a guy and he was telling me that he had been trying to swing the Count Yogi way. So I looked back at Count Yogi's swing, and I was looking at it, and then I realized that's Fred Couples' swing. Count Yogi set up with the club sort of backwards. The right arm and wrist were straight. The left hand was that way, and that's Fred Couples. And that's all just smashing it with your right hand, which this release actually allows you to do. Now, I hurt my back yesterday just walking down the stairs. It just pulled a muscle or something. But I didn't want to sit around the house yesterday, so I went out and I played. And man, did my back hurt. But I used this release in order to try to get the ball out there and moving, because I couldn't turn very well. And I tell you what, I actually hit some of the longest drives that I can remember hitting in quite a while. I mean, that ball just rocketed off the club face, and I didn't hit a single ball left. So now it isn't vertical, and it's going to be outward in the direction that you're going. And if you watch, say, Adam Scott, these guys, they're finishing with their wrist in this condition. It's cupped. At the top of the backswing, no cup, then cupped after impact or in the follow-through. And that, I think that's really the key to the Mike Austin swing, is that extended right arm through the release. And I know it looks funny, and I know it's controversial, which is why I keep saying that. It's a way to put speed into the club and keep the club face from rolling over too quickly. And I mean, if you're like me and like most better players, your miss is to the left. So maybe try this out at the range. Maybe it works for you, maybe it doesn't. If it doesn't, hey, abandon it. Who cares? But it's an interesting thing. And I tell you, I think maybe the Korean LPGA players play that way as well, which is how they can get all the way up to here with both arms. Oh, okay, yeah, that's my back. With both arms straight. It's an interesting little concept, and you won't actually get into that condition, but it'll feel like it. But the club's going so fast that you'll never get there, and it'll be imperceptible to anyone watching that that's what you're trying to do. But give it a shot. Who cares? I mean, it's just an idea. I played with it yesterday, and with a bad back, and I could barely swing, I shot 6 over. So that wasn't too bad. Plus, it was pretty windy. So yeah, give it a try. And there's nothing worse than running out of right arm. So let's make the right arm longer. Okay, that's it for this video. Thank you very much. Like and subscribe. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, thank you.